afternoon, and again, thank you all for being here. I've got a couple of things I want to announce, and then the mayor is going to come up and he's got some things he wants to announce, and then Dennis will come up and fill you in with some details, and then the county manager has some announcements. Let me just state that I signed a declaration keeping the state of emergency in place. I want to make that very clear. The state of emergency remains in place. I also want to make very clear that I just signed a declaration extending the curfew. The 10 to 7 a.m. curfew still in effect. My thoughts on that, we will keep that curfew in effect until we get at least 90% restoration of power in Chatham County. That will eliminate the majority of dark neighborhoods. Now let me also say this to municipalities. You cannot impose a curfew that's less stricter than the 10 to 7. That's in accordance to state law. We have the county attorney here, and he's reaching out to municipalities to make sure that they understand that. 10 to 7. If they want to back it up to 8, 7, test, they can do so. They cannot go to midnight. It's 10 to 7. I want to make those 2 points very clear. We're still in a state of emergency. Curfew will remain in effect until we get to at least 90% restoration of power in the county. And the reason for that, we still have neighborhoods that's totally dark. And we don't want folk driving through them. And if they are, they're going to be stopped. And by law enforcement, and law enforcement needs that authority to do so. So curfew will remain in effect. Now we will revisit it every day because we're getting input from Georgia Power as to where they're at with restoration. I don't expect them to get to 90% until sometime tomorrow, but Dennis will speak to where they're at now on restored power. So I just want to make that very clear. And with that, the mayor has some announcements.
Good morning. The best thing I can say is it's great to be in the city of Savannah today. I want to cover a couple of items. We got people that are coming back. We want to make sure to let you know we're glad you're coming back. We want you, all of those that are interested in being back, to come on back, but be careful when you get here. There's lines that's still active. There's some lines that still haven't been taken care of. So it's very important that as our citizens arrive and come to their homes, that they need to look and be sure to walk around their homes and confirm everything is okay as far as the power is concerned. I did want to mention some of the good things that I've seen as we've been moving around the city. And some of those items are citizens helping citizens, neighbors helping neighbors, neighbors helping senior citizens. And it's just amazing the amount of cleanup that's being done by the citizens themselves. They're doing a great job of moving the material to the edge of the road and cleaning up their area. And I just wanted to thank each one of them that has gone out of their way to take care of their areas, as well as the parks in downtown Savannah. It's happening in every area of Savannah. I've been in a lot of the areas, and it's amazing how people have just jumped out there and took care of what they needed to take care of. I think Dennis is going to cover the Georgia Power issue, so I'm not going to get into that. But that being said, I did want to mention our garbage collection at the city. We're resuming today. It started today. It's going to be a normal, setup. Cars to the side of the road. It's a Monday schedule. Is that right? Is it Monday or Tuesday schedule?
So those who haven't normally picked up on Monday have been picked up today instead.
Okay. All right. So they'll be picked up today. All right. Recycling services have been suspended. If you have any more waste or anything, you need to get it to the van, and we will take care of it. Okay, the other active, we have started our debris removal. We've actually got a contract that is currently in place. We picked up, we have 100 workers that are starting to supplement Our regular crews, there are going to be 20 different crews going out that'll be working in different areas. And as they move forward and they get the right-of-ways cleared and they get the roadways cleared where it is passable, not only the main road, which I feel like have been pretty well taken care of, we are starting to move to the secondary roads or cross lateral roads. So if you have a tree that has not been removed, and I know one at 45th and Haversham that has not been removed, if you know a tree, make a note of that and make sure that you call 311 and let them know about it. So I've called 311 on TV and let them know that I know of a tree that's down, blocking a lot of folks. That being said, I did want to talk about the road crews. They've done a wonderful job, and we thank the National Guard for all they've done. They jump in there. They not only have been policing the areas, but they've been out there in the middle of cleaning and doing all that. According to the latest information, we've already cleared all the roads, and you got the 311. The other issue is, and we run into it again, contractors that are out of town. We, as well as the county, as well as all the other municipalities, have a process that every vendor has to go through if they're going to do business in the city or in the county. That is, you got to have a business tax certificate. You got to have something in your hand that says you belong here and you do business here. We have people that are here that do not have that. We have people that are here that are from out of the state, out of the county, out of the region that are coming here to see if they can make a quick buck. It's really important. Lee Hughes had a gentleman come to him last night. He has a tree on his house. His father has a tree on the house. Offered to remove that tree, $14,000, those two trees. Now, the actual cost was going to be $6,000, and he said that the best way to do that is $14,000. That way the deductible is covered, and he'll make some money too. So there's a lot of examples out there that we need to make sure you understand as citizens. People will take your money. There are thieves out there, and they don't have to have a gun to rob you. So be careful as you go forward and make sure you check those contractors out. All the city services will resume again, or have resumed. As of Wednesday, everything will be running smooth. All of our places will be open for business. So if you have any need, just check with anybody at any of those locations. Also, we have a welcome to Mr. Rob Hernandez. Rob could not figure out exactly when to start, so he thought he would move towards starting when we had a hurricane. Rob decided he would start, and he has started as of Monday, and he has hit the ground running, and he's got a lot of stuff to do and a lot of things to cover, and he's doing a wonderful job. Chief Lumpkin wanted me to thank McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Whole Foods specifically for supplying so much food to his 650 officers as they've been on these double shifts that they've been working. We also can't say enough about the Red Cross and the Chatham Health Department and the Salvation Army on the 2,600 people that are across the river. There is no way that anybody can understand what's taking place across that river unless you as reporters go over there and actually go in and take the time to look at what's taking place. It is an amazing process that nobody can appreciate unless they actually see it. And those 2,600 people, as well as the citizens of Savannah, should thank everybody that is participating in that job. Lastly, I do want to thank our citizens. We got the greatest citizens in the world in Chatham County. Not only they're friendly, polite, respectful, but they go about get their job done and don't say a whole lot in the process. Other item I have, there's two. There's the food bank. The St. Harvest Food Bank has 1,000 meals that they put together for those folks that can't get to the grocery store. There's not one available. They have 1,000 meals that you can pick up after 12 o'clock. And also, Carl Gilliard Our state representative has a meal program that's starting at Moses Jackson. Starts tomorrow. For those that are in short supply of food in those food desert areas, he will be supplying meals with that, along with my wife in that area. So if y'all have a need to go there, go there. But thank everybody, and I apologize for taking so long out. I know I talked too much.
Well, you had some reserve time. So
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I do want to expand on one item that the mayor mentioned, and that's regarding fraud. We got notice last night that there was a citizen who called in, and she was complaining about an official notice that she got on her door from a municipality. It looked very official. It had the city seal on it. It was an official looking form, and it basically told her she had 7 days to clean up the debris from her yard or she would be fined. And about 2 hours later, a guy comes around in a pickup truck offering to remove her debris. So thankfully, she called 201-4500. They recognized that it was a potential fraud case. We have our assistant county attorney in our EOC. She ran it up to the Attorney General's office, and they have agreed to prosecute if they can find the person doing that. So be very leery of anything that you get, official notices you get on your doors, anything like that, anybody offering to do work. The mayor has mentioned it, the chairman has mentioned it, the county manager has mentioned it. There is a lot of fraud that has the potential to take place throughout our community over the next coming weeks. So there are plenty of numbers available for you. There's plenty of ways where you can check your sources. Just please do that before you commit to anything. Regarding debris, in Chatham County and the city of Savannah, all of the major routes have already had first push through, which means they simply push the debris to the side of the road, white line to white line, so we can get from point A to point B. There's still a lot of debris out there. A lot of the side streets still are impassable in many cases. But the city of Savannah and unincorporated Chatham County, the other municipalities are doing a great job in making sure that we can get from place to place within the community. Please also be reminded in those instances where there is still a lot of debris on the roadway, they cannot clear that debris until the power lines are de-energized. So Georgia Power is working aggressively on that, and we'll talk about that for a minute. We've also started moving debris to some of the collection sites, as the common collection sites that you normally see throughout the community. As those become near capacity, then we'll start looking at other opportunities in which to collect the debris. And also, we sent out several pieces of information on how to separate your debris. It's very critical from the homeowner standpoint that you not mix vegetated debris with other types of debris, construction debris, etc., because it has to be sorted somewhere. So it's more efficient if you as a homeowner can sort your debris on the curbside according to the image, to the infographic that we sent out. You can also find it on the chattanoogaemergency.org website. It'll help with the efficiency process. It'll just make the overall cleanup go so much better if we can get your assistance in doing that. Georgia Power has, they sent a press release at 11:52 today, right before this press conference. They still anticipate 90% of all customers affected by Hurricane Matthew will be restored by Wednesday night. They've already restored power to approximately 60% of Savannah area customers. As mentioned yesterday, they've had 5,000 personnel come in and assist Georgia Power. Approximately 1,000 power poles have been broken or damaged. 80 miles of wire have been nearly destroyed, and more than 2,000 fallen trees have severely impacted their efforts. One thing that I do want to really give a good shout out to is all the partners that have helped us with the sheltering operation. City of Savannah, Metro Police, Chatham Area Transit, Trade Center, Salvation Army, Red Cross, the list goes on and on. I'm very proud to report that right now, we only have 225 people that we're sheltering. That's it. All of the other residents that we evacuated from Chatham County and City of Savannah have already been returned to their neighborhoods, and we've got 225 that remain in a shelter. We are moving the shelter location. We don't need the full capacity of the Trade Center anymore, so we are setting up our alternate location at the Islands Branch YMCA, and those 225 will be moved to that particular facility throughout the day today. How is that being done? It's being done through the services of CAT and the Board of Education. And with that, I've got folks over here with CAT to talk about their operation. Thank you, Doug.
So Cheddar Transit continues to aid returning evacuees to their homes while we also build back up our regular service. We're still assisting, as Dennis said, with the people from the shelter, and as soon as we're done with that, we can devote those resources to build up our service. Until then, it's important to note that some routes have less than usual frequencies, and also the impacts of the storm is creating us to divert some routes in certain areas because of down lines and debris. We have other routes that are certainly fully accessible, like the Airport Express. That's running as normal. We're continuing to assess our routes with our staff. They're out there seeing what more we can do, and we're creating new turn sheets for operators so that they can go further into the city. Other than that, our goal is to provide all the critical services our community relies on as soon as possible and as safely as possible. That being said, our call center is back up and running, and we will continue to post updates on our website at catchacad.org, as well as posts on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you.
Regarding our EOC operations, we will be moving our Emergency Operations Center from this location to our original location downtown. We'll be affecting that move throughout the day today and into tonight. We'll also be ramping down from a 24-hour operation to a 12-hour operation. We'll be running from 6 to 6 and handling any issues that come up at that particular time. Also, regarding the support that we've had here at this facility, Savannah Metro Police Department, Salvation Army have been just a tremendous help, as well as all of the partners that have come in to staff the workstations, both municipal, county government employees, partners throughout the community, and some from as far as North Carolina and Alabama. So we've had a tremendous amount of support from the state in getting resources to come in and augment our staff. So we're not working 24 hours a day. So we're very thankful for all the operations all the support for the operations that people have given us over the last several days. So with that, Mr. Smith.
I do want to make mention on Georgia Power, so people understand how they're working. They're working from substations out. And as one of the aldermen just stated, it's like building a driveway or a road. You can't get to your driveway until there's a road, then you can get to the driveway. So that's what Georgia Power is doing. They're also hitting lift stations, pump stations as priorities. So everything works. So just please understand that. The county has suspended our regular dry trash pickup, if you haven't figured that out already. And so we have suspended that until further notice. The landfills, we're going to try and open tomorrow, but it probably will be Thursday morning at 8:30. Our landfill operations in Garden City, Shoveless Road, Wilmington Island are operated by a third-party contractor. They're having problems getting people back in here. Remember, when you start taking debris, we do not take commercial debris, only residential. Commercial operations will be turned away. They have to go to another landfill, and they know where they're supposed to go. So it's residential only at our landfills. The court systems, Judge Carp has talked with us, and all courts are closed until next week, next Monday. They are moving cases and dockets until next week, and we've got that, so he will be extending that order. County offices, essential offices will be open at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So Eisenhower, we just got all the power and data and phones back up, so regular operations will begin tomorrow, and I think even the operations here for tax, tags, that type of thing will be open at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Let me read this from my phone. Our printer went down, so let me read it, guys. Here we go. On the libraries, and this is important for communications, the following libraries will be open for normal service Wednesday, October 12th. Will be open with normal operating hours. Tybee Island Library, Southwest Chatham Library, Port Wentworth Branch Library, Islands Branch Library, and Thunderbolt Branch Library. And we are posting those on the website. Remember, you can go to those. They have Wi-Fi, computers, so if you've not communicated with family members, that's a great place to go to communicate. The libraries that will remain closed until further notice are W.W. Law Branch Library, West Broad Branch Library, Port City Branch Library, Ola Wythe Branch Library, and Oglethorpe Mall Branch will be closed until further notice. Under review for possible opening in the next 24 hours is Garden City branch and Forest City branch. We may know later today about those. Last, I just want to remind folks, we are still getting calls about insurance. What should they do? Call your insurance carrier immediately. If you've not done that, call them immediately. Last, I do want to thank the sheriff's, Sheriff Welcher. He's got 50 deputies out today supplementing with, and 50 vehicles supplementing Metro and helping with security, and we appreciate that. As the chairman mentioned, county-wide, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Until Friday evening.
Until we get to 90%.
90% electric backup. 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. That is county and municipal wide. If you hear of another curfew that goes less than this curfew, it is not in effect. It is 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So be aware, you can be stopped, you can be arrested and fined. Let's see. Last thing is still 201-4500 with questions. That's 201-4500. If you have a question about anything, please call us here at CEMA so we can answer your questions. Thank you.
I just want to put one plug in for some group that I didn't mention, and it's all the aldermen or alderwomen that have worked so hard behind me. I might be the ugly face, but these people in the back are the ones getting the job done. So I want to make sure that you recognize as citizens the work that all these individuals do for you on a daily basis. Thanks.
Okay. With that, I want to just say for those who are returning, welcome back, and please understand that we said earlier that you'll be at least 72 hours or longer without power, and we are approaching that point, and hopefully that a great deal of citizens will have power back by tomorrow. And hopefully, if we get down to the 90% level, we will lift the curfew. So we will make that call tomorrow. And with that, anybody have any questions?
One of the big concerns was a crime as people left. Has the police chief communicated any issues with that? Home break-ins?
Initially, I know that we had several break-ins on the Wilmington Island area. That was brought to our attention early on. I think with the increased surveillance, we've kept it to a minimum. So you would have to consult Savannah Chatham Metro for the latest update. I have not been keeping a running tally of it.
Pooler Police Chief Revenue called into our radio station about an hour ago, or at least someone claiming to be Pooler Police Chief Revenue, and said they had no curfew for the city of Pooler. But that, they don't get to make that decision, right? You're saying that even the cities within the county are under the county curfew.
That's absolutely, because we're in a state of emergency. And the county attorney has reached out to the appropriate authorities. And it was just a mistake. It was not intentional.
Of course.
Can someone speak to the status of FEMA and if you've met with them after they inspected and what's going on with the declaration, the individual declaration?
Sure. Met with FEMA representatives this morning. They completed their IA portion, individual assistance review. They completed that about 10 o'clock this morning. They're now moving their way down the coast. I suspect that we should know probably midweek or toward the end of the week whether or not we get the IA declaration. Along with that individual assistance declaration also comes the Small Business Administration. They were also here conducting their evaluation. And if we get the individual assistance, we will automatically qualify for the Small Business Administration. Aside from the individual assistance, if we don't get that, then we would have to apply separately for the Small Business Administration. But they did complete their evaluation. We should know, hopefully by the end of the week, where we qualify on both of those. We do have another FEMA team coming in on Thursday, and that FEMA team will be coming in looking at government infrastructure. So what we were doing yesterday and today was private property. What we'll be doing on Thursday is government-owned property.
Just speak a little bit, if you can, on why the individual would be so important.
Well, it helps the homeowner. If there's damage to their property, if they have uninsured losses, They can apply through the individual assistance program. There's a lot of different sub-programs under that one area that can come in and assist them with financial as well as technical assistance in restoring the services as well as the actual infrastructure to their property, their actual home.
So if you didn't have homeowners insurance, FEMA would be a way that you could receive help, correct?
You could go to FEMA for assistance. Now, it could be technical advice. It just depends on the condition of your home. It depends on your financial status. There's a lot of conditions that go along with that. But in order for us to get them here to be able to do that, they had to come in and do that evaluation on the individual assistance side.
What kind of percentage of loss is covered by IA? Can you explain that a little bit?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the percentage of loss is.
Do you have any estimate, and we talked about you said 2,000 trees, were there any estimate on how many homes in the county are damaged or anything like that?
We're doing that damage assessment now. The information's still coming in. I mean, we've got them working in all the communities throughout Chatham County. They're even out today doing individual damage assessments. So City of Savannah, unincorporated Chatham County, the other municipalities have their own DA teams out doing those individual assessments of the properties as well as the public facilities.
I'm sorry.
When do you expect an answer on that?
Well, we have to have information for the FEMA teams on Thursday whenever they come in, so we'll be wrapping this up hopefully by midday tomorrow and doing a reevaluation and hitting any other areas that we need to late Wednesday and early Thursday.
I want to go back to the curfew for a moment, Mr. Commissioner. Tonight begins the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, so there may be a lot of people who will be going to day services, either walking or driving tonight. Are the police aware of that?
Yes, we are. And, you know, Wednesday is a major holiday for the
Yes.
Jewish community, and we are aware of that. And in fact, the curfew should assist them because you'll have an increased presence of law enforcement. And the curfew is not to intend to keep people from going to work or getting to their homes. The curfew is to keep people who are just out on the street for no reason off the streets. And if you have a legitimate reason, I'm certain if law enforcement stops you, if you have proper ID and can verify where you're going, they'll let you go on your merry way.
Mr. Mayor, I thought you said tomorrow would be the day where you see things kind of getting back to normal business-wise. Can you elaborate on that? Is that just in Savannah? Is that outlying suburb areas as well for businesses?
A lot of businesses are opening, and many of them have the same problems that we have. Their employees couldn't get back. Employees don't have electricity to get home, but that's slowly being eliminated. And so as I ride around, I see a lot of businesses open throughout all municipalities in the unincorporated area of the county. I know gas is being delivered, so there's no shortage of fuel. The only complaint that we've had is people not being able to find ice.
Do you have any advice for a homeowner who's going to be approached by one of these guys, a pickup truck, want to clean up anything? I know you mentioned a 201, 4500, and just to make sure they're permitted properly.
Yes, and if you can get their business card from somebody who comes up and wants to charge you one of the prices, and if you can report the name of the contractor, that would be a big help, because then we will have a name that we can follow up with, and if they're legit, that's fine. If not, we will proceed to prosecute.
Anytime you run into an emergency like this, you guys plan way in advance. It'll say if you anticipate everything, you're ready for the unanticipated. Has there been anything pop up in this event that y'all didn't anticipate? You're laughing.
I'm sure there have been a lot of things pop up that we didn't anticipate. And part of it is, some of it is flooding, the extent of the power outage, the amount of time it takes to restore it, getting the shelters in place, coordinating all the activities with Red Cross is one thing, having it on paper is something else to implement.
Can you speak a little bit
We
about...
also think if there was a big gap, it's in the form of education. And so afterwards, when we wrap everything up, maybe we will have some county-wide public hearings or training on, led by CEMA, So citizens who really have an interest or come to a forum and learn more can in fact do so. We do a pretty good job of trying to train municipalities and first responders and what we refer to as our partners. And I conclude that perhaps we need more outreach so folks can better understand what will really happen in the event of an emergency.
Do you think the people of Savannah did a good job preparing in advance and heeding y'all's warnings about
I think so. When you look at approximately 75% of the folk seeking shelter, either leaving town or going to a hotel or someplace that they feel can stand a Cat 2 hurricane, when you got 75% of the folk actually responding and leaving, that's a high number. I'd like to get it higher, but I think the educational portion could get it higher if people understand why they should leave and the entire process.
You talked about outreach. I was going to ask you about that. Do you feel you had enough outreach to homeless people? Because some of them were trapped in floodwaters.
There's some of trapped. Our means of communication have been really through you guys, through the press, both the printed media and the electronic media, both radio and television. And unfortunately, that's not always the way to reach them. And I was thinking about it when we heard about trying to rescue those homeless folks. Perhaps leading up to a storm like this, maybe places like Union Mission and other places where they go to for food and what have you. We can put some pamphlets out in advance warning them that they need to evacuate or leave. So there are a lot of things that Dennis have suggested and we've talked about along with the county manager and the mayor that we will try to implement going forward.
But before this event, to your knowledge, were police or anyone doing outreach, going to homeless camps, saying, you know, have you heard something's coming? There's a place to go. You can go to the Civic Center and be evacuated. Are you aware of any efforts to communicate with homeless?
Yeah, you know, we have a homeless authority here, and they actually go out occasionally and do a survey of the population. But in that survey and talking to people about services that are available for them, for instance, they can go to Union Mission for healthcare and stuff like that. But I don't think that we've briefed them enough on the emergency response in the event of hurricanes or floods or stuff like that. So we need to expand or perhaps provide a pamphlet or some form of communications to those shelters where they frequent so they can have more information. And of course, with some of the things we're doing with the tiny houses and stuff, trying to get homeless people off the street will be a great help because then you know where to go to actually distribute that information.
I mean, going back to the scams, what are some red flags for homeowners? Because it sounds like there's been some legitimate.
The biggest red flags is, and you can just see it down 16. If you ride through town, you'll see it. I see cars and trucks from Texas and Louisiana, all over the place. If you just look, and they all have a pickup truck, and they may have a chainsaw, and they've got blowers and what have you. The problem with it, none of the dumps are open, so they can't take it there. They can take it to the city of Savannah. I'm not certain they're going to because they have to pay. And I'm wondering what they're doing with this debris. I suspect that they're not really removing it. They're just replacing it. They're taking it from one spot to the next and collecting your money. And so we're really concerned about that. And if you want to come in here and do business, you need to do it right. You need to get a license. And then if you do all those things, you can negotiate any price you want with the homeowners, but I can tell you that you're being taken advantage of. If you pay more than $700 with a tree, you're paying too much.
Does anybody know how many contractors have gone to the county office and to get a license?
No, but we can get that for you, and then when we issue a press release this evening.
And that is
we will include it.
just the county license, you don't need a city license, is it just
Now,
the county?
you can get a city license as well, so we'll reach out to both places to see who of the number that's got a license, and then you can do your press release this evening. We will include that information so you'll have it.
And the commercial dumping permits is also part of that too, for those who want to take it away. On reflection, should we have set up a shelter in the county? We have people with automatic food pumps we've heard about.
It's really too early to do.
Buford set up 2 high schools immediately.
We can do it. You don't do high schools immediately. We do not run shelters. We have partners that run shelters. For instance, the shelter across the river is actually being run by the Red Cross.
I understand.
They can't stay here no more than you can stay here during the emergency. So we've got to bring them back because depending on the threat, you have no place in which to house them or sleep them. So they're not here. So we've got to wait to get them back. So setting up shelters and keeping them in place is a tough order. Now, we have seen what happened in Louisiana and New Orleans when no one heeded the warning and the water started rising. Everybody went to
Ran to the
the
shelter.
dome and turned the dome into a shelter. Then the roof failed on the dome because it couldn't stand the condition. So that's the kind of things you run into if you try to create one of these shelters in advance. And so we have plans and location, where will the shelter be, certainly. And then we got to get the Red Cross in to actually manage that shelter. We have no experience in managing shelters. They do, and they do it all the time in disasters. And they really are part of the FEMA process. And so we certainly, in this case, we've identified potential schools for shelters. And then the other thing is making certain that everybody's on board. We ran into some situation not being able to access a location that was supposed to be available because we couldn't find the person with the key. We knew who had the key. We couldn't
So a
find
lot
the
of
person.
learning, a lot of learning.
Yeah, well, that person with the key left town too. So you got that type of stuff.
Thank you.
Okay? Anything else? If not, again, thank you and to everybody who's coming back. Thank you all.